What the shit was that?
It's totally live, Jake.
Whoa.
All right, here we go.
That is not my Batman glass.
It's already live.
What is
Welcome
this?
to This Week in Guns. Our bandwidth sponsor today is Stealth Gear USA, stealthgearusa.com. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network, Patriot Patch Company, and JWB Military and Brass. This podcast covers the latest commentary on the firearms industry, news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN, and we have a special Halloween edition of This Week in Guns for you. You make the show possible. That's right. You simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have Matt DeVito of Downrange Firearms Training. Hey, Matt.
What's going on, Jake?
We have Ebbs of House of Guns and House of Arms. Hey, Ebbs.
That sounded like the soundtrack to Hacker Man.
It very well might be. John Patton, the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
I changed my name tonight to LL Longslide, competition shooter for life.
That's right. Some of us have dressed up or taken on different personalities, such as Josh Cast of Four Guys Guns.
Pleasure to be here, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Did you get off the short bus today?
No, but this vodka is almost gone. Mission accomplished.
Well, as always, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are strictly those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their sponsors or employers. A viewer discretion is advised, especially on live shows. So we have Patriot Patch Company that helps make this episode possible. Have the brand new camping patch. And yeah, my flex is messing. Let me turn those off. Anyways, camping patch over at Patriot Patch Company. And also if you missed out on we launched a Patch of the Month Club over there. If you missed out on This Is My Safe Space patch, you can now get the Safe Space sticker. We had a few extra stickers there in the sticker section on patriotpatch.co. So check it out. Patch of the Month Club have two patches for the month of November over there. Only a limited time left to sign up to get those November patches with that bonus patch. patriotpatch.co. Click Patch of the Month Club. So who's doing I keep switching off here, letting people take over parts of the show. Who wants to try their hand at the positive section this week?
Jake, I'll try it. Would you like me to?
You'll try it. Let's first name some of our favorite Halloween movies. Would this be
Hocus
one?
Pocus.
No.
Really? Is Blair Witch Project a Halloween movie?
It could be.
Nightmare Before Christmas. That's all that matters.
John?
Why? How could you not warn us that there was going to be music on tonight's episode?
Hey, back in the day, we had live bumpers on every show, and so it's a little bit throwback for.
Was it always horrible 80s music?
I'm a sucker for horrible 80s music. If you ever go on a road trip with me, I have a horrible 80s music soundtrack for the whole trip.
Noted. Quick question about the first positive news story.
Yeah.
How is there maybe 660 million guns?
Yeah.
All right, Ebbs, take it away.
It's the Guns.com article that says how many guns are really out there. Maybe 660 million if you do the math. Kind of go through this convoluted issue of counting American population, how many guns have been made, how many are really out there, and the conclusion that there are over twice as many guns in the U.S. as there are individual humanoids.
Killing it. A little early.
Anybody have input on that?
Well, and that's the thing is I think the fact checking on this Chris Eager article needs a little bit of work because even if you go to the census.gov site, it literally gives you like a running ticker of exactly how many people are in the United States, according to the census, not including illegal and yada, yada, yada. people, and it's 324 million. That was the first thing I checked on when I saw this article. I was like, 660 million sounds a bit high, but that just means what? 2 guns for every man, woman, and child on U.S. Census. So,
which doesn't seem like that much, does it?
It really doesn't, because I know I have more than 2. I have 2 on my desk right now.
Don't anyone off or give your home address. Next story. I have 2 for the positive news, so Jake's going to have to hurry and get back here before we end it. But a Gallup poll tells us that nearly 2 out of every 3 Americans now oppose an assault weapons ban. Raise your hand if you're surprised. And no one raised their hand.
Nope, not surprised.
What worries me is, even from Gallup and Pew and all those fun people, is the recent stuff with, like, not to bring it to politics way too soon, but the recent stuff with like Hillary and Trump and sample sizes and who they're sampling is we, especially with the internet, we should be able to, in this day and age, get a larger sample size. And sometimes these are really based on really horrible, like they could have literally asked 3 people. And it's like, yep, 2 out of 3. It's like the old Trident gum commercials where it's like 4 to 5 dentists. Like one guy's just like, oh, like not paying attention. And that's how they got 4 out of 5.
One guy's an actor standing next to a dental chair wearing a white jacket. Yes, I'm a dentist and not paid to say so on television.
So where's the, let's see.
And he's one of the dentists.
Where's the research?
But found that only 36% of the respondents were in favor, and it comes from directly from Gallup, from 44% 4 years ago. Gallup asked the question was in 1996. So if you imagine shortly after the Clinton weapons ban went into effect in 1994, then that majority was 57%. So 57% favored it, and then it's since, and then the number of those against it, obviously in congruence, has climbed. So 42% were against it in 1996, and now 61% of people in the U.S., or those polled, as it were, against another weapons ban.
I'm a little upset they didn't cite the actual Gallup poll.
They don't give details as to how many people were polled, where geographically it was done. Is
America's Few. Where's the search here?
Abs, you're breaking up a little bit. Can you go back down on the bandwidth slightly?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for taking the helm of positive news. 660 million guns in America. That's way more than any of us thought. And due to there's no actual federal registry of any kind, no one really knows how many. And since guns have been here since the founding of the country, could be even more than that, I'd say. No one knows.
I don't understand what the exact obsession is with all the media out there trying to find how many, as if it would matter.
Well, it's because the U.S. is so violent. We have to attach numbers to it.
We are the worst.
People have to justify this. Like the fact that because I can is never a good enough reason anymore. Like justification has to be accompanied with,
yeah. Why does anyone need to fill in the blank? Why does anyone need a 16-ounce soda?
Which isn't it ironic though, based on
Don't you think?
Or everything else that's popular? Why do I need to spend 2 weeks binge watching Game of Thrones so I don't feel left out of every group text that my friends participate in? Or why do I need to eat 2 original chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A every time I go through the drive-thru instead of just one? #gains.
My man.
But why? So like those reasons, you never have to provide a reason for those kind of things. And anyway, well, a chicken sandwich never killed anyone. And I'm like, well, my gun never killed anyone.
The funny thing is, Ebbs, you provided actually a very valid point to all that, and it's a groupthink mentality. It's like when your friends say you give really great advice, meanwhile your life is an absolute disaster, and that's because everyone's really, really good at running someone else's life except their own. So therefore, why not just groupthink it on out and make a poll about it, make a mentality behind it, and let's push it through with all the social media and rally behind it, and then highlight all of the negative stuff online. And we all know, as we've seen, negative news travels way faster and further than positive news, so it becomes a popularity contest, and then it's polarizing instantaneously because it makes you think. So now it's in your face, it's in your lap, it's on your phone.
So I Googled chicken sandwich kills man, and I didn't entirely find what I was looking for. I did find man.
Halloween episode.
Is there a Brazzers link?
I did find man assaults wife of chicken sandwich. So, you know,
I mean, we're getting close. You know, if the American people are allowed to have chicken sandwiches for much longer, we're going to see chicken sandwich on wife violence go to a new level.
And there's just no need.
Disgusting.
I mean, if it saves just one person, I mean,
It's senseless. Isn't that the right word?
Yep.
This senseless violence.
Chicken sandwiches. Oh, I'm sorry. We were on the wrong page.
all right, moving on. Oklahoma manhunt enters 5th day after deadly rampage. Gunman on loose with AK-47 after killing 2 people and shooting 2 officers.
They should
Well, I mean,
just
they
close
should have
the
known
borders to
something.
Oklahoma.
Well, yeah. They should have known something was wrong with him when he was driving around in a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Gosh. Hey, don't hate on Fast and Furious lovers, okay?
It's not that. It's not that cool car. It didn't even have the G63.
Eclipse. Yeah, it's the sorority girl Eclipse. Where it's like, I really want a Spider, but I can't afford a Spider, so I get the hardtop one that looks even worse.
It's the I make bad decisions mobile.
Probably have it.
But that's the motto of everybody from Oklahoma.
This is not going to end well.
Matt, you spent some time in Oklahoma, I think.
Oh, I don't do it.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I did.
How smart are they?
Well, I left before I caught the dumb.
Did you?
Yes. But
anyone out
seriously,
there is from Oklahoma and wants to punch Matt DeVito in the face, let us know and we can possibly arrange
for $25 to the Patreon account.
Well, we'll be having a listener. We'll be having a listener meetup.
I'll allow that.
At the Atlanta NRA show, and I'm sure Matt will be there. So
I'll be there.
We'll hold him down and let you punch him in the face.
There'll be a nut kicking booth.
You guys can drive your covered wagons from Oklahoma to Atlanta.
Boomer.
I don't want to lose anybody.
Boomer sooner. Don't lose land on the way.
Nothing to worry about. They'll just die of dysentery on the way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Smallpox blankets.
Oh, gosh.
And this is all after a guy kills people and shoots 2 cops. Good for us.
We're still looking for him, right? That's the premise of the whole story that we're looking at now, right?
I put this in here because remember about this time last year we had that guy on the loose in he was up in Pennsylvania. Yeah, he was up in the mountains and stuff, and they couldn't find him for weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, all right. So maybe Will Petty needs to go and swing down to Oklahoma real quick because paragraph 4 has me a little worried. It's the rampage started Sunday when police responded to a call of shots fired. Vance shot both officers during the shootout, and police fired back, hitting him at least twice. Officer Jim Hampton was one of the officers in the shootout. He fell to the ground again, laid there for a few minutes, got back up, and the firefight was on again. He laid there for a few minutes, like no one thought maybe a good time to go check, maybe cuff him, do the whole kick the gun away thing.
What do we feel in this scenario as a few? Like 3 to 5, probably?
I would bet it was 30 seconds.
Was this article, was it derived in Oklahoma or is this outsider? No, it's guns.com language. So
the issue is time stands still in Oklahoma. So
jeez. See, in reality though, let's be honest. Most officer involved shootings are not exactly like, Call of Duty 500-meter sniper battles with a 1911. it's like 30 to 50 feet, and it's a few minutes. You, me, anybody while eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich can walk up and be like, yeah, no, we can cuff him now, and then like walk back behind the car.
So hang on. The last thing that I heard was that he had an AK. Is that true? Did anybody else hear that?
Yes.
So I mean, here's the thing. You got cops that are using handguns, and they know the guy's got an AK. They don't know if he's deceased or still alive, or even if they hit him. I mean, me knowing what I know about vehicles and bullets and everything, I'm waiting for somebody to get there that's got a ballistic shield or something like that.
I would like to actually apologize to Oklahoma for what I just said, because it's one of those times where we should have kept reading. Police believe Vance is driving a 2007 Mitsubishi Eclipse, and oddly enough, what comes with that car is he has HIV/AIDS and is willing to spread it.
Oh,
it's like a twofer. Like, that joke writes itself, but at the same time, like, apology, because you probably don't want to go rushing and cuffing a guy you just shot who's bleeding out when he's like, hey, I got AIDS and I'm willing to send it your way.
He spits it at you.
Yeah, so I mean, that makes sense. But
wait,
so
how did they
the
know that? Was that like his Facebook status, or?
Listen, Jake.
He's from Oklahoma.
It might be. I mean, ladies.
Bizarre story. So yeah, if you're in Oklahoma or nearby, keep your head on a swivel. Never know where this guy might be at or turn up.
To give you the AIDS with his 2070 Eclipse.
What is wrong with us?
That is like the stereotypical poor high school kid car, though. I mean,
yeah, or
the dude's 38 years old. He's 38 years old, and driving a car that you would not be surprised seeing an underage girl driving,
unless you have AIDS.
In which case, hookers and blow for everybody.
Moving on, Sheriff Joe Apparillo mobilizes armed posse to assist deputies on the front line.
Does that end positive news? No, that can't.
It's already
been out of positive news for a while.
It's been over.
We haven't had positive news for the last 2 years. Come on.
It's been a sham.
I think Joe Arpaio should run for president. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Armed posse.
So basically, he's telling people that are not police to get in police cars.
No, but he's giving them training and equipment, and they're also, he does a lot of stuff I like, because they've also sold off $250,000 worth of guns that were seized through criminal investigations to purchase radios, bulletproof vests, and other essentials for volunteers. So they're like self-funding this thing, which is pretty neat.
That's a posse.
Seized equipment, $250K.
That's a lot of high points.
Points is that's 300,000 high points.
How many Rugers and high points and 38 specials can that be?
Come on, Jimenez arms are worth at least $125.
Jimenez.
For bringing Jimenez into this, it's not funny, man.
It is funny.
It's actually.
It's very Wyatt Earp of him.
I think it's really interesting, because there are a lot of people that don't like this man, and I'm not sure why. I had a discussion earlier on Facebook with a buddy of mine that I've known for years, and he's like, oh, I hate that man. And I asked him why, and he didn't really explain, and I can't figure it out. And I almost wonder if it's because he, is not afraid of arming the populace in order to create a more
not afraid of self-governing chaos, and he's got a little bit of a Wild West mentality.
He's not afraid of anything. That's the thing. He gives no Fs. I mean, he's got prisoners walking around in pink, like totally demoralizing them and being like, hey, you guys are all scumbags. You're going to wear pink for the rest of your incarceration because you're not tough. And there's a warrant out for his arrest currently because people are upset that he makes prisoners wear pink. It's inhumane, they said.
To
What?
make him wear pink, but NFL football players do it for Susan G. Komen.
Because he's clearly not doing it for breast cancer. White for
What if he did though? Boom! Liberal head explosion.
Oh,
Just
true
put
story.
a pink ribbon
But-
embroidered on every one of those things.
I can't even.
Your Shamog says you can.
All right. So the last quote in this article, Sheriff Joe says, with nearly 250,000 Arizonians carrying concealed weapons, terrorists with evil intent should be worried about armed citizens who will be ready to defend themselves and others.
The one thing that I do got to say is that's awesome that he is providing, no matter how he's funding it, he's providing training. And that's kind of the biggest deal for anybody carrying a firearm. So, huzzah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arpaio for president.
Election Watch 2016. We had breaking audio this week where Michael Moore actually agrees with some of us. Michael Moore praises Donald Trump. And then I'm going to read a few more headlines here and we'll comment on them all. New Hampshire concealed carry permit needed to open carry at school polling places. For some Donald Trump supporters, bringing their gun to the polls was already part of the plan. Oath Keepers calls on followers to spot and document voter fraud. 17 gun control groups announce endorsement of Hillary Clinton for president. And Jean-Claude Van Damme says, right now we need Donald Trump.
Well, that sells it. Truth be
Was he
told,
was he in a
really
full
can't-
split when he said?
On two Volvo semi-trucks going backwards.
I can't stand Michael Moore. I can't stand any amount of his being in this universe.
Team America.
Even then, it's like I hate him so much that I would say like my first instinct when I heard the audio from this was Michael Moore is just basically trying to switch sides. He's trying to put himself back in the spotlight. He's being an opportunist. I don't think that doesn't help carry the weight of the goal to be achieved. I'm really having a problem with words tonight, but I mean, it's at what cost? Because this guy has done nothing but, I would say on our side of the fence, demonize and try and demoralize and destabilize a lot of what, conservatives are trying to do, so to speak. And it's like, this is like that little carrot that everyone's like, oh, well, here we go. Like maybe he's seeing the light. Now,
Finally, he agrees with me, so I believe everything he's ever said.
Right.
No, you know what? When I first heard it, I had to re-listen to it 2 or 3 times because I'm like, is this guy saying this in kind of a facetious tone, or is he doing it? Right, exactly. And it's funny, Whitey, because I made a post on Facebook with almost the exact sentiment, and I'm like, I said, I hate Michael Moore. I hate everything he says. I hate everything about him. I wish he would choke on a sandwich. But what he said deep down is true. And, it's when people talk about the 2 candidates and whatever, obviously anybody that's pro Second Amendment is going to be anti-Hillary, and whether or not they're pro-Trump, or it is what it is. But the fact of the matter, what he said makes so much sense that for so long we've had career politicians in office. Let's do what they did with Reagan and give somebody that hasn't been corrupted by the political landscape for years and see what they can do. Everything else hasn't worked. So let's try something new. And I mean, that really it really resonated with me. And I was like, you know what? As much as I hate this guy, I would like to punch him in the mouth. That's what we need. That's what this country needs. It needs a reset. Seriously.
I don't think he was necessarily speaking in favor of Trump. It was the idea of things, as said, establishment and pushing the line, even albeit for the GOP and nation, all of that. I think he was speaking against the boldness that he's employed to get to where he is more than he was specifically for Trump himself. Just in listening to it, that was what I got. I feel like we're listening to Michael Moore, who actually, under the circumstances and like the specific that he took about Trump, he talked about him in general, and then he talked about like his statements to the Detroit auto manufacturers. Under those circumstances, he agreed of why he said what he said, and not necessarily the man or the candidate specifically, but what he stood for and how he had done and said things that no one else had done or would say to that point.
I really like the next article, I must say.
All right. Which one's that, Whitey?
From the Live Free or Die state?
Yeah. What can you tell me? The concealed carry permit
So
is
it's
needed to open carry at school polling places.
Yeah, and this has come up multiple times on this show, and it goes back as far as even like 2 years ago, where a man out in what was it? It was like Dublin or someplace over by Keene, the other side of where I am, where a guy basically they had like an active shooter lockdown because this guy had his, like somebody saw his, like he was printing or something, and it was eventually, and not even like a long period of time, it was like a week later, like it was all thrown out. And there's a misconception with the Gun-Free School Zones Act. That means you can't carry a gun into school, period. End of story. You know, concealed carry permit, none of the above. And it's not true. There is exceptions in that law. And the reason why I like this article is because it highlights all those things. It it comes from the FBI direct quote. It also even states, you know, what it takes, even if you're open carrying. Now in the state of New Hampshire, anybody can open carry. If you want to fly here from California and I meet you at the airport, once we exit the airport, I can literally strap a gun onto your hip in plain sight, and it's 100% legal. 100% legal for you to open carry in the state of New Hampshire, whether you're from the state or not. But the moment like a jacket comes over it, once it goes in your pants, any portion of it gets covered by something, it therefore becomes concealed. And if you don't have proper licensing, et cetera, which is literally a $10 slip and $10 permission slip from the, you know, your town's police chief. And what this is saying is that if you're going to open carry onto school grounds, you then require the concealed carry permit to be legal to carry on school grounds, not just for voting, in general. So I don't feel bad about dropping kids off at school anymore with a gun on me. No?
Outstanding insight, Whiteford. I think that helmet is trapping in all your intelligent insights.
I have 500 lumens to make sure my future stays bright.
Oh my goodness.
Brought to you by Surefire.com and MTech, your helmet solution.
None of the opinions expressed on this show are.
So 17 gun control groups announced endorsement for President or potentially President Clinton.
Yawn.
Yeah,
We knew this.
Yeah, nothing we don't know, but I mean, there's still a lot of people voting for Clinton that own guns,
and those are people we call idiots.
Just making an observation here. I mean, people need to wake up who they're voting for. I mean,
I'm more shocked that guns.com is putting this out there like it's news. Wait, shocking. A gun control group is voting for somebody that is a gun control candidate? I'm confused by this. I mean, they're not. It's not like any of these people are worth paying attention to anyway, as far as, you know, who these gun control groups are. None of them matter because they're not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there and complain on Facebook.
So coming up here, November 9th, just a matter of days away. Clinton and Trump are dead heat in the polls. And
they?
very, very contrasting positions on the Second Amendment.
I like seeing the
Are we gonna
ones
so because when's our next show next to that?
for Halloween, between election and Halloween.
Okay. So I'm thinking we should maybe next week take bets on one, who's gonna win, and two, how if Donald Trump flips on guns.
And then the over-under on nuclear war.
Yeah, or what'd you say, Whitey? Well, we're all dying nuclear war first.
And then the over-under on nuclear war.
Yeah.
Yeah, the future is bright. Potentially far too bright.
Brought to you by Surefire.
Drop the empty.
Brought to you. No, it's actually not brought to you by Surefire, although I would welcome a sponsorship. Stealth Gear USA helps make this episode possible. Check out the new Stealth Gear Revolution line, which is...
I have one right here.
Hey, look at that.
It
Click
is
on your
sassy.
window here, Whitey. What model is that for?
This is for a Glock 19, which I has right here, and it's actually here's the kind of cool part about the Stealth Gear. So for one, just like their other technology that is really soft, really cushiony, and really breathable, also breathable, very soft, very pliable. So far, very tear resistant. That was my number one concern because it's a combination of like that, like wrestling mat meets neoprene material. But what's cool about this material is that it gives you a lot of the benefits of the Stealth Gear stuff you're used to, but it's way faster for them to manufacture. So your turnaround times and lead times for getting like a good inside the waistband, good comfortable inside the waistband holster is significantly reduced. And they can literally cut that pattern out really fast. And the moldings that they've been using there's some modified stuff with the new Kydex they have, but so far so good. We've been playing with it for a couple weeks now, and it's great. It doesn't really feel much different than the other one they have. I have 3 models from them. I have the Appendix, as well as there's a longer version of this one to help spread that weight out a little bit further. But
Now, is that one what they call the Mini?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I have coming, the Mini, just like that.
I think it's just their most popular.
Yeah, I think that's the one I prefer as well. Because I usually carry at the 3 to 6 o'clock position, and that's I think that's what they designed the Mini for more so. But yeah, really cool new design for the backing, and that's awesome that they're going to have faster turnaround times. Still hand built in America, breathable as always, and custom molded to your exact firearm. And they have their awesome 45-day no questions asked guarantee, and you can use promo code TWIG for 10% off your order at Stealth Gear USA. So write that down, TWIG for 10% off, TWIG. So check it out, stealthgearusa.com. Moving on to the main topics again. Remington finally introduces the RP9 and RP45 striker fired handguns.
I like how the word "finally" is used as if people were waiting for these things.
As if they'll work.
I think we talked about this last year. I swear we talked about this in an episode where we looked at their Rohrball 9, the 380 piece of junk that they were going to release, and this was also in there. This 45 was also on that sheet.
This looks as stolen from a PPQ as the Ruger LCP did from the Kel-Tec P3AT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John, you might be right about that. I can't remember. That was a long time ago, but there was no photos, nothing associated with that, just a number, right?
Well, I think we saw like one of these, but it was super grainy black and white. So we didn't know if it was real at that time. But either way, I'm just gonna say, what everyone wants to say here is that the recall for this has already started, and
they've already enlisted the same lawyers as Caracal. and they're on retainer.
So yeah, the same day Remington releases a new handgun, they're like, we're ahead of the game here. We're rolling out the recall at the launch, so we got you all covered.
That's not true. For those of you that actually may want one of these, we're just teasing because the recall starts next week. Really, it's a high capacity 45 N9, highest capacity out there. I think the 45 is what you said, Matt. You told us what it was.
I think the 45 was 15 plus 1, and the 9mm was 18 plus 1.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we kid because Remington really has a tarnished reputation, at least in our circles now, with definitely in the handgun world and even in the rifles. And so, they have a long road to hoe here. I mean, Remington is not known as a handgun company, and they're trying to be a handgun company now.
They have a long road to hoe?
Yeah, road to hoe.
Did that just happen?
That was an Illinois farming country thing. It was very good. I'm interested to see if it looks like it could be comfortable. They've taken a lot of cues from a lot of good handguns, and this could perhaps not be all that terrible. But nobody believes anything Remington says because of the R51. It came out once, it was horrible,
John.
they recalled it. Then it came out again, and it was horrible again.
John. Question.
Lay it on me.
Would you trust your life to the new Remington in 45 or a high point in 45?
A high point all day.
Okay, that's all we need to know.
No,
But that doesn't. This is brand new. So how could I trust it?
Right.
So
So
shot one.
justify that
the
question.
track
Why would you
record.
try the high point over? Why would you trust the high point over the Remington, John?
Because I've not shot the Remington. It's that
But
simple.
you've shot the high point, yes,
Yeah.
and it's worked, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to.
And has any pistol that Remington put out yet worked?
Not in the last decade.
So would you
Okay.
spend money
Well,
on
no, the
it? is
R1s,
question.
some of them worked, right?
No,
Yeah,
the
some of them. Yeah.
The 1911s are good. I mean, let's not completely throw Remington under the bus here. They make a decent 1911.
Yeah, I mean, they're decent if you want a really bad 1911.
I want to try it. It's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, I'd like to shoot it and see if it's any good. I'm with you, Whitey.
Yeah, I'd be down for shooting it. Who knows? Did they mention price point here? Where they're going to come in at?
Let's
Sub
see here.
400.
Really, sub
I
400.
have insider info. Yes, I have insider info.
See, that's the thing that impresses me the most is that this is potentially a sub $400 gun. That puts it in a completely different price point, and the value could be way higher because of that.
Yeah.
So when it fails, we
It's a
should just
cheap
say, well,
gun.
it's a cheap gun.
Yeah.
So we expect it.
Breaking, Walther introduces the new Creed pistol. PPX gets a makeover.
Why did you have music throughout the rest of the beginning of the show, but not any Creed to segue into that?
Oh.
We need to
Oh,
respect that. Yeah.
You know what's funny is going to this article immediately after the Remington one, you immediately see the Walther influence.
Scottsdale, yeah.
Someone actually talked about Walther a minute ago. I don't remember who that was.
Was it you, Ebbs?
Oh,
Was it a PPQ reference?
Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Hey everyone, Ebbs is still here. Make sure you pay attention to him so he feels loved. The emo side with those glasses is coming through.
I'll say it.
Here we go.
I'll say it. I wouldn't have said it if I wasn't thinking it, so I'll say it. You're not hurting my feelings at all.
Tighten your chin
I'm still
straps.
here.
Ebbs is going to get sensitive.
Full circle back to where I started. So thank you. But if the price does come in under $400 and it can be more reliable than a high point,
That was like a Tarantino segue
they're going to send it out with more than one magazine.
to the Walther Creed.
They called Ruger and they were like, hey, we hear you guys get away with only sending one magazine with every single one of your firearms, even proprietary stuff. Can we do that too? And Ruger's like, yeah, that's a great idea. You guys should do that. This is all.
So this is a Walther PPX. Like it does
Creed
not look any. Yeah, it literally says Creed on the side instead of Walther PPX. I don't see a difference. I'm looking at both guns side by side. They look identical.
Yeah, they do look very similar.
I mean, there's the new Creed looks like it's been honed a little bit more on the rear end. It looks like it has the same trigger, maybe a slightly different plastic around the slide catch and whatnot, but everything else looks the same. I don't get it. What is this supposed to do?
Like a SIG P250 versus a 320.
Do those look that similar?
I mean, is this just is this more of a marketing makeover for Walther?
Yeah. It's like, hey, we have nothing new to announce, so we're just going to cut some letters into the slide and give it a new name. And
that's why I think it is. I think for whatever reason they're like, the PPX name, that's really not, it has PP in it, and people are making fun of it.
What's a good example of a car really bought to begin with, but then was relabeled as
everything Infinity's ever made? They've changed their naming structure like 3 or 4 times in the last 2 or 3 years. Seriously, they've done it, and the cars have not changed. And this is very similar.
The Pontiac Grand Am.
Dodge has done that with their trucks. All the pickup trucks are now Ram brand instead of a Dodge Ram.
Yeah, they're not even affiliated. It's a separate company altogether, so that when Dodge dragged everything else down, Ram could still live on. The guy told us that at SHOT Show. What was it, 2 years ago? They had like Ram. You could take it through the desert, like over hills.
Yeah,
and stuff. I was like, we're not Dodge anymore. We're not Dodge. We're not.
We kept calling it that. We kept calling it a Dodge Ram. They're like, listen, we're actually just Ram. And we're like, listen, we actually don't care.
Yeah. That's been the Dodge Ram for the last, I don't know how many years, and no one's ever going to believe you. What is this?
So, I mean, it seems like, Walther maybe took this to a marketing agency and they ran through a bunch of different names.
Oh, was it Blue Heron in Oklahoma City? $10.
Hey, so can I take the lead on the next story here?
Go for it.
So, have you ever wondered what it would be like if someone gave a bunch of Play-Doh and a Sharpie and like some razor blades to somebody with Parkinson's? I would like to introduce
It's not that bad.
It's that bad.
Kalashnikov Viking M, which is a 9mm pistol. That is quite possibly the ugliest gun I've seen outside of a movie.
Balls,
like a movie ball.
Say this. I love it. Kalashnikov concern. Okay, fair enough. 2, because it looks like a Beretta M92 that got collagen implants.
That's not an M92 at all.
Nowhere near.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Hey, at least it doesn't have a bunch of.
This looks like a salient freaking late-term abortion.
Whoa! Political, easy. We don't want to
politics. How dare you?
We don't want to anger all the Hillary Clinton supporters that are still listening.
Still. Hashtag still listening. Still listening.
Oh, they're pro aborting salient arms.
Oh my goodness.
It's weird. It's like they said, you know what? We can't afford a CAD file that does like something different on the slide. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like 40% through, and then we're just gonna flip it.
How much do you think that weighs?
You know what they did?
Pounds.
With the machine cuts, 37 pounds and 12 ounces.
No, you know they did?
It's a 2-pound pistol, guaranteed.
It's got a weight here. It's 33.5 ounces.
I disagree with the.
What did I say? 2 pounds.
They sent it to the same guy that did the slide work for tactical shit, and they said, "Hey, mess this gun up."
I got you, fam.
Here, mess this gun up, make it horrible. Hit it
All
with a
right, so,
hammer.
let's try and describe it for the people that are listening, because right now they have no idea.
We lost Jake. His eyes are slantier than normal.
So all right, let's start from the muzzle. For whatever reason, the barrel sticks out enough for you to thread it, but it's not threaded.
It's not
because
threaded.
They're just taunting you there. Then you move back into what appears to be like a CZ or like high power knockoff.
Yeah, a little bit.
With the Picatinny rail that sticks out obnoxiously far underneath that. And then they got lazy and didn't decide to put the slots all the way back. They gave up on that and ran out of dollars or quarters to put in their ancient machines here. Then there's like a scallop out of a Pontiac Grand Am. We're throwing that reference back in. It looks like a bad
The air dam
90s car on the slide. And then you move back, and we're still moving back here. They stole the grip shape on the front from a 92. Count it, Ebbs. That's definitely there. Then they took an old Ruger P90 barrel lockup area. That looks exactly the same, completely garbage. And then they move back into the back end where you are met again with disappointment. Then the sights. The site, I don't know what is happening there. So the site is actually a lot like one of those like surfing things that you go on a cruise ship. You know, it's got that permanent wave thing. Kind of looks like that. Really confusing. Then there's a drop off on the back end for no reason behind the site.
Wave?
Yeah, so you know the back end makes no sense either. Then there's what they're pretending is a beaver tail, and that's when we wrap around and meet quite possibly the laziest grip. It looks like somebody took the panels off of a 92 and then just added a little bump there for you to rest your thumb on, because screw it, let's do something fun.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
So we have to shorten the sight radius for no reason.
Your mind. And see, because this is the first, I'm just going to tell you, this is the first pistol I've wanted in a while, and I don't care how stupid that sounds. It looks like a child.
Oh, Jesus.
And a Beretta.
You broke
What,
up.
and a Beretta?
Between what?
A Tokarev and a Beretta.
I can see that.
No.
See it, DeVito. See it and love it. Now listen.
No.
Is there a corner in that room you can go stand in?
Hey, hang on. Just one second. Did you read the description? I'm not sure what this means. Another improvement is the new magazine, which is double stack, single feed. What does that mean?
It's like the shield thing. It's a staggered deal.
No, it just means one round is at the top.
Isn't the
That's
six
how all double
226?
stacks work?
No, not all.
That's what I'm saying. That's not how all double stacks work. No.
No, I don't think that's what an AR-15 is considered. Because 2 rounds alternately feed off the top.
No, I don't have a
instead of just
226
one.
on me. A 226 has like that pyramid type shape where
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a
you have to
single
load
feed.
one at a time, but then it opens up into a double stack, a traditional double stack where it's like they're really wide based.
It's
Next
not an improvement. It's the same as most semi-auto pistols these days.
Because it's a Kalashnikov concern product, does this mean we can't import it? And does that
That
mean
is
I
correct.
can't get it?
That's correct.
All I want to know is who's going to make holsters that are going to attach my lanyard to the lanyard loop in case I lose it.
Because lanyard loop.
Did you whisper it?
Yeah, he did.
He whispered it.
Well, that's been, I mean, hasn't that been a requirement for the U.S. Army pistols up until now? Up until the...
Yeah, because, let's make things on the guns that no one ever uses.
Or it was,
Listen, man.
Yeah, let's make things on the guns. Way to sound totally PA.
or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't for the Beretta 92, but that was a concern. I remember talking to a plastic manufacturer that was approached by someone from something to do with the Defense Department, that they were looking to use some kind of injection molded adapter for a lanyard loop.
Matters most is tonight is a night of firsts. This is the first time that Jake has mentioned or someone in plastics on the show.
Moving on. So High
This-
Point. Are you
Oh
ready?
my God! Is anyone seeing this High Point mag?
Ready for this?
Yeah,
High
it's
Point
awesome.
introduces new 45 high cap magazines.
We don't need to reload because, bitch, we got extendos. Like, that's what's going on here.
Listen. I am going to buy at least 2 of these.
Oh my gosh! Look at this thing.
Yeah, it's awful. I'm going to buy
It's
them.
like a lower deer leg. Like after the joint. Like that's what this
John,
is.
is it your carbine a 45?
It's sitting right there, and yes, it is.
We don't
I'm
need
totally
to
going to
reload.
buy one.
Because
We don't need to reload, because, bitch, we got extendos.
Oh, it looks like a deer leg.
This is what happens.
Get
it's,
money.
it's a base plate attachment that it allows them
This
to
is
be.
like the laziest double extendo mag I've ever seen.
What he
The
does
best
he
part
flip
is the
it.
name, the Red Ball.
Yeah, because
High Point
we
Red
ruined
Ball.
the design, so let's just give it a stupid name, too.
So it's basically making another magazine that attaches to the base plate of your current magazine.
I can
No,
only hope that that's
You're
the case.
wrong. It
Whoa.
says it looks like 2 magazines welded together, but it's not.
No, it's totally different.
But it's not.
It's not.
Listen,
Wait, no, did everybody just understand? Everybody who's listening and is, well, you're probably not still listening. So to no one that's listening now, it actually says in quotes, while it looks like 2 magazines welded together, dash. That's
It's not.
like when
No,
he
I
said
guarantee-
that, it wasn't a joke. It says that.
I
We
guarantee
fooled
you,
you.
if you look at this panel right here, this is exactly what it looked like at the boardroom of High Point. All of this screwing around, and then one dude sitting in the corner going,
You know what?
dude, guys, look at this. Guys, we could put them together.
But I'm pretty sure High Point didn't actually design this. I think
The
Red
one.
Ball is a different company.
Announced by MKS Supply. So did they buy the design?
I don't know.
You're the authority on High Point, John. And
Listen.
HK, oddly enough.
All right, let's go to our next favorite company. Colt launches the new combat unit carbine.
Oh, hold on.
I thought Colt was broke.
They are.
Colt actually buys somebody else's parts to put on their guns, and they're still overpriced.
That's similar to another company we know.
So they took a Centurion Arms rail, put it on the gun, and then they made it mid-length.
Which are nice, by the way.
Yeah, they're nice
I like
rails.
Centurion Arms rails, they're awesome.
So they made a mid-length gas system gun for the first ever time on a Colt carbine because Colt decided to catch up to 2004.
Yeah,
And then-
they went into their Wayback Machine to get a mid-length gas tube.
Well, and they added Magpul buttstock, pistol grip, trigger guard. The thing, you know, I'm surprised they went with M-Lock rather than key mod.
I'm happy
should-
about that.
I feel like
Why
we
wouldn't
should
they?
call Justin Baldini, Colt's director of product marketing. And including the feature was a logical step for the gun maker to explain its benefits.
For $1,300. What on that gun is $1,300?
Yeah, but the best part is they're doing what garage builders figured out. Who said 2004? That was perfect.
That was me. Thank you. Count it.
10,
What?
12 years ago, guys are going, what if we put a mid-length on a carbine buffer tube? Would that make a super flat and smooth shooting rifle? Oh, yeah, it would. And we can cut weight, and it won't matter, and it will still shoot smooth and be reliable.
And my M-Lock comment was key mod. I'm happy as well that it's going with M-Lock over key mod, but Colt, you know, being Colt, I would guess that, you know, they'd be like, oh, key mod everything.
What's really interesting is the promo picture they're sending around doesn't show, 1, the gas block, or 2, the front end of the gun.
I think Centurion has some really good salespeople, apparently.
Yeah. You know what? That it doesn't show the Magpul buttstock there either in that picture.
Aside
Right.
from saying
You know
Colt,
why?
why is this $1,300?
Because it says Colt. That's it.
Well, I was just in a
Because-
gun store today, and there was a kind of newer guy behind the counter, and he was talking about what he'd seen moving out the door as far as ARs go, and it was mostly the cheap Ruger, the cheap Smith & Wesson, and then they had like a 308 DPMS, and that was pretty much it. And then he's like, the Colt, because there was like a $699 basic bare bones basic Colt there. He's like, yeah, we really haven't sold any of those. And I'm like, well, that's because it's overpriced. I mean, it's the same as the Smith & Wesson Sport and the Ruger. I mean, but you're paying $200-300 more.
I'm pretty sure it's an $800 Stag Arms right there.
Oh.
That,
He just said that
like,
with or without the vodka, I think.
that legit, like it's a Centurion rail on a Stag, but this one says Colt. Like that's all it is. There's no difference in that. If you buy a Daniel Defense, even you at least get a Daniel Defense buttstock, Daniel Defense grip, Daniel Defense magazine, Daniel Defense, and it's a Daniel Defense. Not like what was cool. It's like what people are using now. And I'm looking at this picture. Like, where are you getting $1,300? Me of all people.
You're not. It's that simple. You're just not getting.
Because I'll be the first person to go head to head with John and be like, "Well, it costs this much because blah blah blah." I can't justify that.
Right.
Anybody.
Junk. Well, I shouldn't say it's junk. It's overpriced.
Just for the carrier alone, I like it. Don't get me wrong. Because as I've seen over and over again, the Colt M16 full auto carrier group is pretty much bomb proof. But it's a Stag, dude. Save yourself $600. Go get a Stag. You can put it towards your aim point.
Let's talk about a rifle that actually is cool. The Galil Ace is now shipping in 7.62 NATO AK 308.
Do want
That's
one of those.
cool.
I do want one of those.
Yeah, I like it too.
The
The
Galil,
version was recalled, wasn't it?
The 7.62 version, I think it had one too many pins or something, and the ATF was being dumb about it. And it wasn't an ATF force. They did it. They didn't do it because the ATF said to recall it. They did it as a preemptive thing to not piss off the ATF, I believe, if I remember correctly.
the funny thing is, does it change the effect of the gas system at all if somebody was to literally SBR this? By SBR, instead of getting the pistol and then getting the stamp, I mean getting the stamp
No,
and cutting the barrel.
because it's a long stroke piston. I think it would be fine. What would change it is if you tried to suppress it.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
you could have gas issues.
Yeah, it's a cool looking rifle. Definitely cool.
No,
looking
do you know,
rifle.
do you know
love
what the
to
best
have
part
one.
of that rifle is? The best part of that rifle, it takes PMags. It takes SR25
Yeah, that's
mags.
pretty cool.
It looks like an ATR stock, and the grip looks like a Tapco saw grip.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, change
But
those.
It's still cool looking.
I think it's cool. I think I would still buy an actual real Galil in 308 though.
You know, this is one of those guns that I'd really like to shoot in every caliber that they offer it in to see how much the recoil impulse changes across the line.
Mm.
And
Actually,
the MSRP is $2,100.
Woo!
Hey, for people that might not be familiar with what the Galil is, Matt, can you kind of give people a rundown?
Yeah, so essentially the Galil is the original Galil or the Ace? Which one? The original?
Well, the original.
Yeah,
And-
give us the history.
Yeah, I mean the original is the essentially shut up, Whitey.
I'm
It's-
serious, jerk face.
It's it's an Israeli design that is essentially improves upon the AK-47 using 223 rounds instead of 7.62 by 39. They normally had skeletonized folding stocks, all metal milled construction, and they're pretty badass. 35 round and 55 round magazines, and they're pretty indestructible, as most Israeli weapons are.
Fast description, save for his details. And an original AK had a baby.
Yeah. There you go.
And it worked. That's the key there.
Really well.
Really, really well.
Because a lot of times, a lot of American manufacturers in general have tried to mash those two platforms together, to not a lot of success or reliability. And the Galil actually is the tits.
Caracal rolls out
Wait for it.
cold pistols. Finally, there should be a finally in this headline.
That was in that Remington headline should have been brought into this one.
Right. I mean,
I have a question.
It's been 2 years, hasn't it?
Longer?
Or 3 years? It's been 3 years.
3 years.
3, yeah.
3 since the original.
Has anybody here actually owned a Caracal besides myself?
I would really like to have one.
Me too.
I actually liked them a lot.
Yeah,
Their bolt guns were gorgeous when it came to trigger and action.
Yeah,
alone.
the bolt guns were awesome.
Dude,
But you know, when they had the recall, the whole company just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I had one of their pistols. I absolutely loved that gun. That, like, everybody talks about the trigger on like the HK VP9s and stuff like that. That gun had the best stock trigger with the best reset I ever felt. Super flat shooting as far as the recoil went because it was the so low on it, and I ended up actually selling mine because I didn't want to send it back for the recall. I made somebody else do it, but
I really liked their the C model, so the shortened like the Glock 26 size, basically for lack of a better term. And then, but then they had the short right sight radius front sights with where it was cut into the slide, so the VR or I don't remember what they called that sighting
The rear
system.
sight was just forward of the chamber, right?
Well, the rear sight, exactly right. The rear sight was forward of the chamber, and it was a triangle, so it was like the advantage sight style system, and it was so fast. And because of that, it kind of had a Steyr grip angle purchase a little bit. Is kind of how I would describe it, and smooth, so comfortable. And Matt, that was a good description of the trigger, the VP9-esque, or even better than. I think it was a harder break, but shorter than the VP9. Got one because they were recalled before I even tried to get one.
So Matt, I'm sorry. What ended up with yours? Did you send it back for the recall?
no, I heard about the recall and I sold it to somebody and told them to deal with it.
Probably never to buy a gun from you.
You know, no, I honestly, I got one of the. I remember I got it from Centerfire Systems, and it was one of the very first guns to come into the country. And I think at the time they were like $350 shipped, and they came with 3 magazines. It was an awesome gun. I just, you know, and people said you didn't have to send it back. You know, I a buddy of mine that bought his. We got it together. Actually, he still has his. He never sent his back, but it hasn't blown up yet.
Classic rimfire race gun, the Bell AR-15.
Oh, it looks awful.
It's hideous. I want to break it.
So
Well, I mean,
it's like somebody really, really liked the movie Cars and then decided to make a stock and forend out of that kind of style, that like, you know, retro, you know, tail fins on a Cadillac type gun.
The old
And-
Bel Air tail fins.
Yeah. This is somebody that makes poor life decisions.
Oh, it says Bell R15.
It does not look good at all. I mean, I give him style points for cohesiveness, but he was so lazy he did not even change the grip. Managed to create this buttstock that's cool, a forend that matches the theme, and then an A2 grip. WTF.
On that,
Afterthought.
that buttstock looks uncomfortable to shoot.
If Orange County Choppers
Yes.
made rifles,
Yes.
but then like the father-son had a huge argument, like 85% through, and like the son walked off, and dad
And so
said,
did the
"Throw an
dad, and they
A2
left
on
the
that
other
thing
guys
and
to
call
do
it."
it.
Oh, timestamp. Dad said throw an A2 on that thing and call it a day, and that's what you got.
Wait, did you scroll down? Did you scroll down and look at the pictures of the U.S. Army one?
Yeah, that also looks bad.
Really? I don't know. That one's better.
It's better, but that doesn't make it good.
I don't know. I feel am I the only one that thinks I think they're cool?
I like the Army one. I don't care what John says.
Okay, that's good.
I like how this has Bell R15 on the stock, on the rear stock, as if that conclusion that's what it looks like.
What is that? A P-47 nose? Is that what it's made to look like? This Army one? That one's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's M&P 15, so it's 1522. So it's not even like he's really breaking the budget, and he could put more money into the crafting.
Well, I'm offended. Somebody's offended here. Maybe at this music, maybe at one of these stories. But this is the I'm offended section, and I think Matt DeVito's going to take this one.
California National Guard. Thousands of California soldiers forced to repay enlistment bonuses a decade after going to war. Wow.
But they even thought about it. Gosh.
Yeah. So I guess folks from the California National Guard, thousands of soldiers got enticed with bonuses of $15,000 or more to re-enlist and go to war, and now the Pentagon is demanding the money back. Almost 10,000 soldiers that served multiple combat tours have been told that they need to repay their enlistment bonuses.
Wow.
And they're also getting slapped with interest charges if they don't do it in a timely fashion.
America.
Yes. I don't even. California.
This sounds very similar to some kind of Obamacare nonsense. You know what?
Yeah,
you
seriously.
have to buy health insurance regardless of whether you want it, and we're going to increase the price. And then if you don't buy it, we're going to charge you still.
I honestly I don't know how that angers me a lot.
That's BS.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I want to say.
10 years later, like, come on, guys, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, from a PR standpoint alone, this is a bad idea.
What they did was originally when they first said they were going to make everybody pay it back, is they made everyone who unknowingly took those bonuses and incentives responsible for the dishonesty of and the signing officers who presented this to those they were recruiting, which in no way should have been their problem or their fault to begin with. So the fact that it was even presented that they were going to have to pay it back is lawsuit worthy in and of itself. Like if that were me, there's no way I even consider paying that back at all.
You have to. If they're saying they're going to put liens on people's houses and stuff.
Yeah, bad deal all the way around. Companion article says Defense Department suspends recovery effort of troop bonuses. So we'll see what comes out of that.
Apparently people lit up phones and there was a good amount of backlash after that, hopefully.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Overflow stories, way too many stories to cover this week. As always, you can pledge your support for This Week in Guns. You can support the show by going to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge your support at the after show level to hang out with us after the show every other week, talk about some of these extra stories. Amazon, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. Please click through the banners on firearmsradio.tv. For the month of November, we actually get a little bit of a bonus if you guys go and actually click through the banners over on firearmsradio.tv instead of using the link that I always tell you to bookmark. So really appreciate it if you go over to firearmsradio.tv and click the Amazon banner before your next online shopping trip. We are to the full auto news segment, and I'm so behind here. I'm lost all my bumpers here, but you know, I do have one going out to Ebbs here because you know everyone loves Russian Ebbs, and I found this one song. It's called "Party Like a Russian." So, full auto news segment, stories of real media. Won't talk about another crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story here to call their own while you guys are picking your stories. I want you all to go on over to JWB Military and Brass and check out their awesome, ready to load, already sized brass. Just throw it in your press, load it up. JWB Military and Brass. Also check out their awesome steel targets. You can find them at jwbmilitary.com.
Can you play Flock of Seagulls?
Flock of Seagulls? I could maybe find some for the after show. All right, who's got a story here and is ready to rock?
I got a story. This is my favorite. This is from South Carolina. A press story related to something that happened in South Carolina. It says a man stabbed cousin in South Carolina church over a curse. Man stabbed his cousin during a church service in South Carolina because he thought the victim had put a curse on him. Way to follow through. He's released new details as a judge held a hearing and denied bond Monday for 65-year-old Billy Lewis. So a 65-year-old man did this because he believed he had a curse on him. He must have had good reason. Lewis began stabbing his cousin. Isn't that the worst, though, when it says that he began stabbing his cousin? Because in my mind, shooting compared to rape, compared to any violent crime, the word stabbing to me sounds the most violent and intrusive. So it says he began stabbing his cousin who was seated in front of him Sunday morning at St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal. Authorities say the victim was wounded in the back and the head, but is recovering. Dent says his wife is a nurse and helped treat the man until paramedics arrived. Dent says both men were loyal church members. Lewis's sister, Edith Lewis, says he is schizophrenic and wasn't taking his medicine. I have a lawyer at the Monday hearing. End of story. So, quick answer. I love how they throw in the schizophrenic part at the end. Give credence to the original reason he was stabbing his cousin in front of him. But this is another reason, A, to take your meds, and B, not to do meth.
Don't do meth.
In Russia, meth is called gasoline, and we drink from funnel.
All right, Matt, what do you have?
Police in the U.S. selling confiscated weapons to raise cash. Apparently, there's 16 police departments. 16 states across the country that are allowing their police departments to sell off firearms that were confiscated from drug busts, using crime, using murders. They include Montana, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas, Georgia, Connecticut, Texas, Arizona, Louisiana, West Virginia, North Carolina, Washington, and my home state of New Hampshire. Apparently, a bunch of people are opposing this because, for example, the states include Connecticut, where 28 people, including the gunman Adam Lanza, were killed at Sandy Hook, and I guess they're going to be selling the rifles that he used, supposedly. I don't have an issue with this. I don't know why people would have an issue with this, because there are a lot of police departments out there with a lot of evidence lockers full of a lot of expensive guns, and police are not getting the proper funding they deserve. And people will bitch and complain that, oh, we can't raise taxes to support the cops, so let's do something else. And then when it comes to selling guns, that's obviously bad news for folks. There's a lot of police departments that have a lot of really cool stuff in their evidence lockers. It's funny, this came up because somebody circulated or somebody on Facebook itself circulated an article from 2012 after the Sandy Hook shooting, where the the woman turned in the STG-44 to the police department at a gun buyback program, and it was a $40,000 machine gun. And for whatever reason, that was getting passed around Facebook a lot today. But there's a lot of hidden gems in police departments that should be released to the public.
I'm sure there's a collector out there that would probably spend a lot of money for a lot of those things. Me personally, I would never want to own that gun from Sandy Hook.
No, I want the Sandy Hook gun, but
It's like inviting demons into your house.
Yeah, that should just be broken down. I have no problem saying that.
All right, Whitey, what do you got?
Oh my God. I'm surprised like John didn't jump all over this one. But because this is like, even I got to go, oh my God, I want to shoot that. Yeah, so when you want to just destroy everything, including, the building behind the T-Rex, behind your house, behind your pickup truck, the insane 700 caliber .700 rifle slings a, wait for it, 1,600 to 1,800 feet per second. And who wants to take a guess as to how many grains that round is?
A couple thousand.
1,132 grain bullet. You're literally sending a lead banana downrange.
It's probably not a lead bullet. It's probably brass, because a lead bullet that big would weigh like 3 times the weight. It'd be insane.
So the video of these guys shooting it literally looks like they got rear-ended. Like, that's how hard this thing is moving. These guys are leaning in, and it's still like, ugh, and their heads are snapping, but none of these Americans will be on some crazy little video where people fall down after shooting big caliber guns. Because they're American.
The 700 WTF has actually been around for a few years now. I tried to find out where it came from and who made it and if I can buy one, but a rifle that big, I believe, and Kraut may have to correct me on this, but I believe that's considered a destructive device. And
it's a straight-walled cartridge too.
The guys shooting it are handling it.
Oh yeah,
dude! In flip-flops. In flip-flops are doing it. That's the best.
Everybody too. They're all hanging around in the desert in like cargos and flip-flops.
John, those look lead, dude.
So if the movie Trimmers, if that was real, this is a gun I would want.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
oh yeah,
it is huge.
But it's a semi bullpup design to cut down on length and weight, and they just cannot be doing that much with that brake.
I wonder about barrel length. Like
Aimpoint Pro,
it's an Comp M4.
Why do you
Comp M4 mounted to the top?
They are cast projectiles. That's what they are. I didn't look that deep into it.
Flat nose. That is fantastic.
I mean, if you dropped it on your foot, you'd be pissed.
So if by some random chance out there, somebody knows where this 700 WTF rifle is and who has it, please, 100% serious, get in touch with me. I want to see it.
He wants to film it, and he also wants to pay you.
Yeah, 100%
Piles
serious.
of cash. You guys see? Sorry, Jake.
John, what do you got?
I have something from Chicago. Chicago is a wonderful place where, in certain neighborhoods, you could be driving down the street and have random rounds being fired at your car in the middle of the night for no reason at all. So that actually happened. Guy was just driving through the neighborhood, and I guess the shooter decided that this person shouldn't have been in that neighborhood. Then, upon realizing that it was actually a friend of his in the vehicle, he yelled out, "Aw, my bad dog."
Way to read it like a white news reporter. Oh,
dog.
I mean, really, what can you say? My bad dog.
It's better the second time.
That's. I mean, that's all I need to say about that story. Some dude shot at a car and then said, "My bad, dog."
Okay, I think the story of the week should be the Florida man sues police drug testing company after donut glaze mistaken for meth. And so this guy was pulled over and autoplay ad, thank you. And the cops found a piece of donut glaze on the front floor panel. I mean, I got so much food and like around the bottom of my seats in my Suburban. I can't even imagine what they're going to find if they ever pull me in.
So American.
It's
I eat so much in my Suburban.
well, yeah. I mean, if I ever drive off a cliff and get trapped in my car, I eat out from under the seats.
That's disgusting in so many ways.
So they found a rock-like substance on the floor near his feet, and they tested it with a field kit produced by Safariland, and it not once but twice tested positive for meth. And later on, they tested it at the station, and it turned out it wasn't meth. It was possibly Krispy Kreme donut glaze.
I want to know what in donut glaze is the same as meth.
Well, you haven't had a lot of meth, have you?
I have not. Would you care to educate me on meth? Or should we call somebody from Florida?
Not live. Not live.
Well, apparently there's not necessarily a lot of similarities, and that's why they're suing.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. There's somebody in Florida that has actually had this donut meth, and Safariland did test positive. This is a BS story. I'm kidding. That's a lie.
Donut meth tonight at 7. He's seeking damages in excess of $15,000.
Safariland releases in a public statement, "My bad, dog."
Nailed it.
So hard.
So
Breaking news.
Save us, Jake.
thanks. Yeah, no more Safariland potential sponsorship. New way to support. Did everyone go? Everyone went, right?
Yeah.
Second round, anyone?
Nope.
Yeah, totally. Russia reveals chilling images of super nuke dubbed Satan 2. Devastate area size of Texas. The only reason I tell you this, it is massive. It's so big. Like campaign logo with like Putin's logo and stuff. But you need to go. Here's the only reason I'm telling you to do this. Go to the show notes. Go to the Mirror UK article for this. Watch the video. Voice reporting on Russia's new missile, because it will completely change your perspective of what they've created.
Oh,
Sorry,
my Lord.
He's like Satan, but bigger.
Listen. We have missile. In missile is real.
Are you talking about?
And we will drop missile on.
Yes.
On
Are you talking about the
private
first
parts.
video or the second video?
First video.
The first video. How do you describe
Area
that
the
voice?
size of France. Right away. 22 seconds in.
Instantly.
Russia has developed a missile that could devastate an area the size of France.
It's like somebody from BuzzFeed is reading the story.
Promise.
Not the Asian guy who like sometimes is cool. The other guy from BuzzFeed that's questionable.
Seriously, go to the link and listen to this guy. Because
He's from France.
Oh boy.
It makes the missile sound so non-threatening. It's like as dangerous as a Yorkshire Terrier.
He's like Nathan Lane's little brother.
Range of nearly 10,000 kilometers. This would allow Moscow to attack.
You know, since this is a full auto or segment on the Halloween episode, maybe I can pull this up and actually play it for the audience here.
Yeah, they need.
Size of France.
Size of France.
We need to upgrade the arsenal of SS-18 Satan weapons. What do you suggest? How about Satan 2? I like
Put more AKs in board.
Satan 2.
When missile goes off, we want AKs everywhere.
Have you heard of AK grenade?
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
RS-28 Sarmat, dubbed Satan II by NATO, has been widely reported to have a top speed of 7 kilometers a second and an expected range of nearly 10,000 kilometers. This would allow Moscow to attack European cities as well as reaching cities in America's west and east coasts. And it's also reported the missile could destroy an area the size of France or Texas. The Sarmat has been designed to outfox anti-missile shield systems. According to the Daily Mail, the Russian Defense Ministry plans to put the Sarmat into service in late 2018 and remove the last SS-18 missile by 2020.
The Russians are coming! Oh, my Lord.
I look fabulous in red.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's Nathan Lane's little brother.
All right. New way to support this hilarity. You can go over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge and pledge your support. Pledge it for as little as about $1 an episode. You can pledge $5 a month on up. Firearmsradio.tv/pledge and support the show. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out the new camping patch over at Patriot Patch and also the new Patch of the Month Club at patriotpatch.co. This is the part of the show where we see what's going on with these guys. So, Matt, what's up, and where can people connect with you online?
What's up? Well, it's hunting season, so I've disappeared into the woods for the better part of the past 2 weeks. You can connect with me online at DRF Training on the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Snapchat. And also, if you're into hunting, you support that lifestyle, you bout that life. Matt DeVito. Matt DeVito
Sorry,
hunts.
dog.
Sorry, dog. On Matt DeVito hunts on Instagram and Facebook.
Very cool. John, what's up, and where can people connect?
Lots of things are up. We just did a live takeover of the TGC Facebook page from our friends at Muncie Threat Assessment Center, or MTAC. They kind of gave a little tour of their shoot house, so you should go check that video out. TGC, the legal brief, all kinds of good stuff coming. If you want to find me, just punch in the Gun Collective on your internet machine.
Is
Very
that
cool.
Muncie, Indiana?
Yes, Muncie, Indiana.
So I went to college a half hour from there, and they had a burrito place called La Bamba's, and it was phenomenal.
Okay, I'll ask him if it's still there.
All right, Abs, do you have any other fast food recommendations, and where can people connect with you?
Great question. Great observation. Get into busy season with House of Arms, and you'd think everybody'd already have their hunting gear all lined up, like Matt was talking about, but folks are still buying barrels, buying trigger jobs, stuff like that. So we're staying busy, lots of shipping going out, and people getting ready for the holidays too. So having fun arming the masses with single-shot rifles and pistols.
Very cool.
But wait, hold on. I want to drop a little thing there. So if you want to see how a rifle from House of Arms will perform, go look at the IV8888 channel. There is a video of myself and Eric shooting the rifle that Ebbs put together for me out to 600 yards with a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum.
Hey, John, plug your T-shirts and stuff, too.
So if you want to support the Gun Collective and potentially get in on one of the biggest giveaways that's going to be happening very, very soon, hopefully, you should go over to store.theguncollective.com. You can go to the Gun Collective, click store. There's a lot of ways to get there. but there's some TGC long sleeve shirts. We now have hoodies. There's new TGC logo patches. The Guntrepreneur keychain is there, and a new Guntrepreneur shirt that Jake is wearing right now. Jake, stand up and show off for the peoples at home. There, look at that. It's nice and blue. That's actually an updated version. The first version is still 100% not happening. This will be the last run of these Guntrepreneur shirts, I believe. But if you want to go get one, you should get them now at the TGC store.
Yeah, the Guntrepreneur keychain and patch are pretty sweet. The keychain especially, check that out. So, Whitey, what's up and where can people connect?
People can follow us on a lot of social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and such. You can always find us at 4guysguns, all one word spelled out, FOURGUISGUNS. And tomorrow you can expect a new episode of the weekly drill down. We have changed the format a little bit due to popular demand, where we now are including the loser of said drill exercise challenge situation now must do that drill with the challenge guns, so to speak, in the same episode. So we've kind of seen that people don't leave or grow, or, you know, there's no harm in doing it. We wanted to make sure we kept people coming back, and it seems like they're coming back and growing week to week. So thank you guys for your support. It's a lot of fun making the actual episodes with Matt from Downrange Firearms Training. And we've had a lot of positive feedback, and it's really great to see that people are kind of receiving it so well and getting kind of inspiration to go and start practicing on their own and utilizing the targets from RE Factor Tactical, the IQ targets with the dead man's hand. If you missed it, we did do a great episode down at the IV8888 YouTube shoot.
Whitey got his ass kicked.
Yeah. Shush. And we're back on schedule, back on track, and we're pumping them out every Friday. You can catch them generally between 4 to 6 p.m. on Friday. So right as you're done with your business day, what am I going to do this weekend? Hey, let me go check out Weekly Drill Down, and you can have yourself some happy, fun time and get better at shooting in the process. We also have patches, t-shirts, and all our fun stuff for sale in the store.4guysguns.com, including the Velocity Mag extensions, which add +3, machined at a 6061, super easy to install, take down, clean, and add better grip, handling, and balance to your firearm. And yeah, go like my pictures on Instagram. Send me dirty snaps. FUG space Whitey on Snapchat.
Send him all the dirty snaps.
Anyone who can show me Jake's white rear end naked.
Dudes only? He needs dude dirty snaps?
Yes, dudes only.
I have a
And
custom
then
bag here with my face on it
That about wraps
for
it
the
up.
first person that can get me Jake's rear end naked.
If you can also reply with my bad dog afterwards, that'd be great.
You can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of this YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes. Your review on iTunes and contribute with FRN's Amazon affiliate link. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Jake. Pleasure as always.
Thank you, John.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Whitey.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ebbs.
We make good times.
Only good. Going to hell.
That's a wrap. We'll
Still
see
alive.
you next week.
Bye.